And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
It ain't so groovy when you're screaming in the night. Let me out of this cheap movie. Headlong down the highway, and you're rushing headlong, out of control. And you think you're so strong, but there ain't no stopping, and you can't stop rocking. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, you can. You can call Stewart Rhodes. You say, Stewart, come on out and save my butt, man. I need my rights protected, because you know what? Nobody else is doing it. We had Senator Ron Gould from Arizona State Legislature on. He's in that area. He's a senator for that area, and he goes, yeah, well, you know, whatever. Disincorporate. I'm hip to that. Barry was interviewing him, and he goes, yeah, I think disincorporate, and, you know, don't care. Yeah, they're bad guys. We got corrupt stuff all over. You know what we did? Arizona Department of Public Safety, they have put Quartzsite on top of the list of we're not going to do anything about corrupt city list. You know what I mean? You're on top of the list. We're not going to do anything, but you're on top of the list of we ain't going to do anything kind of list. I'm going, rare. They ain't. You're going to do nothing. You know? Yeah, I know, get my grammar or whatever. I like saying ain't when it comes to government. All right, so what we're going to do is I want to look at this one graph, and I know Stewart wants to make a point here real quick, but let me go ahead and show this for the video audience. If you look at Quartzsite out in the middle of the desert, I mean, this is huge desert. You don't see green anywhere around that for, God, it goes across 100 miles or more, except right to the west of it, there's a strip of green there on the right next to the Colorado River. The water, and I don't think this is from the Colorado River. A lot of this comes from groundwater. Now, on the east side of this over here, there's an enormous aquifer that's underneath Quartzsite, and that is agriculture. Ooh, and whoever controls this area here in the future, you have a big giant blank in the southwest here that Quartzsite is dead set in the middle of. And I'm just going, man, I can see some stuff a-coming. So, and certainly whether it is or not, that is, I wouldn't be surprised if some people are speculating on that, and they may know more than others. So you might be in with a bunch of people that are much higher, that when you start bringing all this attention to this stuff, they're going, damn, man. I mean, all kinds of weird stuff. You get IRS audit kind of thing. So I'm going, all right. Now, Stewart, in this effort that you're coming out, Oath Keepers be there August 27th, a Saturday. That's a Saturday right before the recall election of Ed Foster, the current mayor that went in there to clean this up, and they took away his powers to be able to do it. So his recall election is that Tuesday, 4 days later. So I'm going, all right, is this a political thing, or that just happened when they gave you the date? And, you know, is this peaceful? Are you ready to chest out, challenge the man? To what point? You got to give me the flavor of this whole thing.
Well, I'll remind folks that we have, like the old saying goes, 4 boxes of freedom. There's the soap box, the ballot box, the jury box, and last, dead last, is the cartridge box. And we're there to use the first 3. So this is all about freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and putting pressure on them to do what's right, putting pressure on the state also. If you have thousands of folks showing up at Quartzsite, thousands of Arizonans and other folks from across the country demanding that the state do an independent investigation and take it seriously and actually do their job, then that's what we're trying to do, is put positive pressure on the state to do their job and do what's right, and also to support these police officers. This is really the first battle in the fight to clean up corruption and take back our local communities across the country. So we want to see the same thing happen across the country, but it should be a peaceful revolution, and it can be because we still have freedom of speech. We can still use the ballot box, although it's got limited utility, but we can also still use the jury box. And those are powerful tools that were put in our hands by the Founding Fathers. We should at least use them to our fullest before ever doing anything else.
Okay, now this is what Oath Keepers...
Don't be afraid to come out. This is peaceful.
Yeah, no, and I wanted to emphasize, that's why I wanted to have you on as soon as possible to make this clear, because they want to make this out, you terrorist. And I'm going, man, they have to do that because they're the terrorist. No, we're not. They are. You know, it's just, ouch, quit it. And I want to make sure...
That's part of the shtick, is to make you feel like, oh, something bad might happen. There could be violence, and so we shouldn't come. And so there's hardly anybody shows up, and the police chief can then say, well, look at that. No one showed up. I told you it was about nothing. That kind of thing.
Okay, now this was what Oath Keepers was set up waiting for this kind of thing to happen so you could show support from brothers in arms, the people that are, ex-police, police, military, ex-military. That's what the Oath Keeper thing was about. Look, we understand the role that we will be asked to play in the violation of individual rights, and we're going to be here to support when the people, there's going somewhere, it could be in some little itty-bitty out in the middle of nothing thing like Quartzsite, to where you have law enforcement finally come up and say, you know what? No. And then they got fired for saying that. That's what always happens. So when that happened, here comes Stewart Rhodes and Oath Keepers coming out and say, this was what we created ourselves to do. And that's why you're going in support of these guys that are doing the right thing and the rights of the people there and education and understanding. And they, the big bad guy, those, the government, the police chief, and what this oppressive regime that they got there has to make it seem as though you're invading them, you're the bad guys, there's aggression, and they're there to protect. I don't know what the heck they're trying to say they're protecting, but it's really not working because alternative media, including us and a lot of others. Now, when I was there before, there were 2 television stations out there from Yuma and Parker and whatever's been covering this. And they're like, look, man, we see what's going on here. So I'm going, all right, if we can get this clear and the message out, in fact, I would encourage you, because a lot of people from Phoenix are going out there on a regular basis anyway. And if you had some flyers, this peaceful, that would serve everybody well. But I am of the opinion, I may not segue, or dovetail into this effort, is that I'm for unincorporating the city. I mean, you want to find out who all the bad guys are, just take away their gravy train, and all of a sudden it'll become clear. And then you can be better off. All your problems is because you incorporated. When you're out here out in the middle of nothing, that's why you came here, be in the middle of nothing, not how many sidewalks you can put out in the middle of the desert. So This is my mentality. Now, how is it that you got involved to where you were representing Ed and Jennifer, the mayor and the woman that was dragged away from the podium? How did you get involved?
Well, we were contacting them. They already contacted Elias, my Montana chapter president, who serves as our editor. They were talking to him already. And then my paralegal, Steve Hall, who helps me find cases, on his own, contacted them. It's just kind of a weird synergy kind of thing. So we said, okay, well, I'll just have to have 2 hats on. I'll try to recuse myself when I need to. When I let folks know that I'm their private counsel for their civil claim. Like, for example, I can't talk directly to the cops, so I have to have somebody else in my organization handle that. When they give the award to the police officers, it'll be someone else talking to them, because otherwise I'll be accused of ex parte communication with the opposing the defendants. So those are things I got to watch out for. So I'm wearing 2 hats here. President of Oath Keepers. We would have been involved anyway. We were going to be involved anyway. But to me, it's icing on the cake to also be able to be a warrior in court and also within my mission of Oath Keepers.
Well, what kind of response has this gotten on your website and nationally? I mean, people paying attention to Quartzsite?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, they're absolutely, and they're very happy. And it's good to give them something positive to focus on. There's so much negative out there. All the YouTube videos of police officers violating their oath all across the country, and they see all the bad stuff. The horrendous shooting down in Tucson, the death of that Marine veteran, all of that kind of stuff is really very negative. And it's important to call out oath breakers, but we have to also be very positive and support oath keepers. And like you said, that's what we want to see happen. So we have to encourage them. And when they stand up, we shouldn't have them stand up, look behind them, and no one's there. We want them to stand up, look behind them, and the whole country's behind them. Moral support, physical support, intellectual and financial support for their cause. Whatever they need, we need to be there to support them.
No, and I'm glad you're doing it. I want it because I've been covering Quartzsite for 15 years. I've known this is coming. I mean, you can always tell what the future of a society is going to be by 2 things. It's really simple. What do they punish, and what do they reward? Well, they've been punishing any kind of standing up for yourself and getting involved in your community and stand up for your rights and all that. They punish that. What do they reward? The people that take them away. Well, if they keep doing that, certainly in a small community, I would have bet big money. Certainly I bet a lot of attention on Quartzsite because I knew it was coming. Well, it's here. But they didn't anticipate guys like Stewart Rhodes, Oath Keepers, that happen to be an attorney.